Right. And I'd like to thank you all for joining me today and the invitation to be here at Konkan University. It's just a marvelous, beautiful place. And what I'd like to talk with you today is about how innovations can open learning for everyone. And what are some of the strategies that are available for you here at Konkan University that you can really enable education for all. And I'd like to begin with again, a big thank you, your wonderful hospitality. First, you might have seen us with red hats this morning. And yesterday, this is where I want to thank Michael and Anna Ruth and Paul for bringing us, as well as Aw and Boom, up to the Mekong River area. We had a wonderful time. And then in the evening, Denpong provided me this beautiful material, so I'm going to wear that today too as well. And I'm actually going to make this part of the talk. Is it okay? Oh, okay, all right. All right. So this is probably not your typical speaker's dress, right? Okay. So again, wonderful hospitality. This is an important principle that is driving national strategy for our well-being. Talent, people's capabilities, their abilities are equally distributed across the society, whether you are rich or poor, or from Konkan, or Bangkok, or Phuket. The ability for people to develop is everywhere, but opportunity is not. And if Thailand, United States, Korea, any country is to develop its capability, we have to really figure out how do we expand opportunity so all talents have a chance to develop. And that is why education empowers talent, why education is such an important strategy for society, and it enables opportunity for people to develop their skills, their knowledge, their viewpoints of the world. And without education, we'll never be able to bring all the talent necessary to advance Thailand's strategy here. Because education is the most important social change agent. So your roles here are fundamental for the well-being of today's society and all the future generations. Education really is essential for all the economic change. Now, what I'm going to focus on today is a certain element of education. There is a lot of open and free and open educational resources. How many people have heard of OER, or Open Education Resources? Just raise your hand if you've heard of that before. A few people? Okay. Well, imagine content being freely available, educational content on the web. We have all your mobile devices. You can search for lots of information. Now, imagine the value of having content in physics, biology, social sciences, medical sciences, training material for everyone to be freely available on the web and to enable those opportunities. And so I've been working on a project for over 20 years that provides free and open access, and I'm going to show you some examples. So when you're trying to teach physics, imagine, this is just a screenshot, but imagine a simulation or an animation of springs to help people understand dynamics, or thermodynamics. You have simulations as you allow temperature to rise and looking at, or you have testing blood pressure. where you can look at what are the concepts behind blood pressure, what are procedures for doing this, and common errors. In a sense, enabling everyone to be able to have access to educational content, whether you're in the university, whether you're studying at home, whether you're studying by yourself, whether you're self-learning. This is, in a sense, how education can bring that opportunity to all. So there's a whole range of smaller units, and as Professor Kwok talked about, clipped, small units, you can provide people access to those materials. There's also full courses, course curriculum. MIT OpenCourseWare, how many people have heard of that? MIT, right? Okay. And so there you have an online, the syllabus, all the lecture notes, the assignments that you need, the projects that you can do. Enabling anyone, anywhere, free access, because the cost of education is one of the most important barriers for opportunity. So by providing free access to the content, then you really can enable many people to learn the skills, to develop their talents, to recognize their talents. You have Thai MOOCs. And I have to really compliment you at Thai Cyber University. You have over 100 courses brought together by over 30 institutions where you're providing open enrollment. Anyone, anywhere has access to those learning experiences. And then there's a lot of free and open textbooks. In the United States, the cost of textbooks is a significant barrier for student success. In 1 year, it can cost about $1,000, and in California, that's about 20% of your total educational cost. So what happens is the poor students don't buy the books. How well can they succeed? How well can they develop their talents if they don't have access to the content? So developing free and open e-textbooks is an important strategy to help our students succeed, and also our institutions that can really provide more graduates to California. The California State University system, where I work, we have 23 campuses, 500,000 students, 25,000 faculty members. It's a very large system. And how do we enable all those students and those faculty to do innovative activities? This is going to be some of the challenge, and we're going to talk about today too as well. So just to summarize, opening doors for education can occur through OER, the more units and lessons. And if you're here to try to begin to explore the use of technology in teaching learning, and you're in chemistry, physics, anthropology, health sciences, you don't have to change your entire curriculum, but you can begin to take these open education resources, try one out for lessons, see how it works, do it gradually. And again, we have full open courseware. And again, you don't have to adopt the whole course, but you can pull lessons out, projects out, assignments out. The MOOCs, these can be part of your supplement to the courses that you teach. Sometimes your students may not be fully prepared in their mathematics, for example, and they're taking a chemistry or biology course. Well, there are some open MOOCs out there that could be helpful. Open textbooks, again, free. And many of these open textbooks, you can get print versions at a very low cost. And then your libraries, often there's another whole movement about open access journals. So all these, to go about openness, is free of cost to the student. you have the permission to use it. That's an important aspect around this is there are licensing called a Creative Commons license, or there are acceptable use policies that says it's okay, as compared to copyright, which says you have to get permission to use it before, all right? And this last one is really about your role in innovation. Is all these materials still require you to figure out, to choose, to be creative on how to take that content and incorporate it into the learning context of your course, of your program, of your institution. Okay. So how can we innovate learning with free and open educational resources, increase opportunities to develop people's talent, right? Where are all these free resources, right? So there are a few elements that become very important when you're starting to think about bringing open education resources in an innovative way into your institution. The first important aspect is about the vision for a better future. In California, our faculty are used to using published textbooks from McGraw-Hill, Pearson, etc. And getting them to change to a new publisher can be a challenge. But when you start explaining to them that we have students who are going hungry because they don't have money, that they are homeless part of the year because they are hungry, they can't succeed in class because they can't afford the book. You give them that vision, that inspiration to how they can do things a little bit differently. And we also say, instead of a $200 textbook, how about a free textbook that all the students have it for the first day? Empower them with that vision. And then sharing the benefits with the innovation. And this in part becomes the politics of any innovation. So when your university vice president says, this is a wonderful idea, and we're going to help support you by making it easy for you to find OER because we'll integrate it into your learning management system. We'll provide you professional development training. We'll provide you speakers to come in and talk to you about this. We'll enable you to take the position that open education resources can be very helpful is important, right? And the last part is the hardest part, institutionalizing innovation. Often innovations, people like the great idea, they can get the politics behind it, but implementing it effectively is where we often fail. And it is around how do you put into practice a new idea. And I think Professor Kwok this morning, I agree, all his comprehensive strategy of what's important in the development of talent and how do we go about doing it. This is where there's a lot of challenge about implementing the innovations effectively, and it's a complex process. So as I said, implementation is where innovations fail. So what can we do about it? And what we're going to talk about really is a strategy that we've developed, we've implemented in California for, I'd probably say, about 8 years, that helps you all think about how best to integrate innovations, and in particular for open education resources. And we'll start at the bottom of the pyramid. There are many different open education resources out in the world. Google can help you find a lot, but they're often more things that are not educationally related. If I typed in DNA because I wanted to find some work simulations around DNA from my genetics class, you're going to get websites about paternity suits. You're going to get websites about the newest crime scene. I mean, lots of things that are not related to what you want. So there are a number of providers out there, and one of them is, one of the ones I run is called Merlot Multimedia Educational Resource for Learning and Online Teaching, that has over close to 80,000 free and open educational resources related to education. There's also, you have your Thai MOOCs, there's the K MOOCs, there's the J MOOCs, there's MIT OpenCourseWare, there's all the OpenStax resources, there's a lot out there. So the first is, realize there's a broad base of educational materials, and all those are useful for your teaching and learning. Now, so it's great to have them all available, because if you don't have content, it's pretty hard to do anything else. The next level up is creating capabilities. And I'll say this is where your IT organization, Dangpong, for your group and your colleagues, your job is to make everyone's life easy, right? Technology has to make it convenient and affordable for you to integrate an innovation. It's essential to make people's life easy. And I'm going to give a little saying, your job is to give a gift and not a burden. For innovation to work, you have to create capabilities in your institution that enable you to make it convenient and affordable access through technology. So some of these are available for you. Think about your library. How many people do research and you go to the library? Raise your hand, right? I hope you're going to the library. It's a good thing to do, right? Now think about, imagine if the library didn't exist and you had to go find the research by the faculty from all the institutions around the world. Could you ever do your job? Do we have any PhD students in here, or master's students? Raise your hand. It's okay. You're not guilty. Okay. Okay. Right. Imagine if the library wasn't there. Your job would be unbelievably difficult. So where are the libraries of open education resources? So here's one called Merlot again, Multimedia Educational Resources for Learning and Online Teaching. And really what it does, it creates a collection of all these OER that are freely available for you to find. You want to find physics, chemistry, as I said, anthropology, zoology, whatever, health sciences, right? And it's at merlot.org, www.merlot.org. We've been around for 20 years, and that's like 200 years in the internet years, right? Continually innovating. And we've done some things just recently to make this even a more powerful tool in Merlot, and I have an example here where I typed in DNA. As I mentioned before, I'm teaching genetics. And so on the left-hand side, we have peer reviews. Faculty in the discipline evaluate the quality of those materials, because when you pull stuff on the internet, how do you know it's any good? Well, in our scholarly work, we have peer reviews. Merlot has peer reviews. Any user, a student, can put a rating on here. We also have discussion boards where people comment about how they're using it in their class. And people create bookmark collections. So think of this as a lot, the academic community is telling you about the quality of these free and open education resources. And on the left-hand side, there are all different types of materials. If I'm looking let's say this is an introductory genetics course, having an animation, a visualization of how DNA, RNA works could be a really useful resource. And again, what's important about these libraries is you may wish to really show the visualization of DNA and RNA, but you don't have the programming skills. We haven't taken the courses that Professor Quark had when we were really young, right? Learning how to code, right? So what becomes important is you can begin to find the types of materials, animations, simulations, tutorials, whole courses, drill and practice materials, all different types. So that's what Merlot has had for a while. And now what we've recently done is when you put DNA or any search term into our search box, we'll also search many other collections. So you would simply click on that green tab, and then it would search all these other open education resources. And so you can see by DNA, we got MIT's OpenCourseWare. We have 2 materials from SlideShare. You can get Flickr. You can get OER Commons. There's an Orange Grove. All these other libraries have already been integrated. I guess I should stay on this side of the room. There we go. All these other libraries. So one search, multiple outcomes. Would that make your life a little easier rather than going to all these different repositories out there? Okay. Make your life convenient. And does it cost you any money to go to Merlot? It's free and open. All right. The last element is actually searching on the web. Now, as I mentioned before, the problem is you get all these other non-educationally related materials. So what we did is Google had a certain search application, and we customized it based on the type of person who searches and uses Merlot. So behind the scenes, you put in DNA, and then we added a bunch of qualities that says, I want DNA related to higher education, that's related to some sort of, say, biology, genetics. So we add all these other elements, so when you just put your term in, it's shaped by the profile of the educational user, all right? And we have all these other materials pop in. So with one search, you get Merlot content with the peer reviews, you get materials from all the other OER repositories, and you get educational material on the web, making your life convenient and affordable. Does that sound pretty good? Is that the head not falling asleep, or is that the, yes, yes? Oh, okay, all right, good, good, all right. Now, all right. And the other aspect you can do, the last button I click, you can then create a bookmark or put all these together and create a little bookshelf for you that has all these free materials available, and then you can give that URL to other people, your students, things along those lines. And we're happy to do a workshop on Merlot at any time, whenever you'd like to learn more about it. Okay. The next, so I have some brochures about Merlot, and if you don't mind, you can hand those out. Okay. The next topic area or tool that we developed is aligning textbooks, free and open e-textbooks, with courses that people teach. All right. Anybody teach Introduction to Physics here? Introduction to Chemistry? Do I hear biology? Biology? Economics? Economics? Do I hear economics? Let's, right? What we've done is we've find 50 of the high enrollment courses that typically are taught at the university. And we've created a showcase of all these courses, and I'll show you an example here. That says, if you're teaching Introduction to Physics, Biology, Statistics, whatever, here are the 3 or 4 free and open textbooks for you to choose. The other thing, we have faculty tell their stories about how they're using these free books, the consequences to their students having free access to those materials. And if you want to find a whole lot, Merlot has over 6,000 free and open e-textbooks. Okay? So let me just show you. So here's, and it was just by coincidence, Professor Kwok was talking about the importance of coding in education, right? Developing your programming skills. So here's a book, Computer Science Programming Concepts, okay? So the website is Cool for Ed, and so this is the handout about Cool for Ed, and I have a bunch. Feel free if you want to take a few and give some to your colleagues. So if you want to know about the course outcomes, concepts covered, you click on that button. Here are 4 different free books for teaching Introduction to Computer Science, okay? How to Think Like a Computer Scientist, Learning Python 3, Introduction to Computer Science, Programming Languages, Structure and Interpretation of Computer Programs, okay? Once again, we had faculty evaluate the quality of these books. 3 different faculty from the University of California, from the California State University, and from the California Community Colleges. And last, we did an evaluation of the accessibility. That is, can students with disabilities have access to the digital content in these free books? Because if we are doing education opening for all, it includes students with disabilities, all right? So we have the evaluation of the books as well, okay? So that's the course showcase, and again, we have 50 courses there, and we're going to be growing that every semester. And then we have faculty showcases. How are faculty explaining? And here's an example of someone using the data structures and algorithm in Java, sorry. And you click on that button where it says learn how I use this open textbook. And so here's an e-portfolio, a teaching e-portfolio of the book I'm using. Let's see if I got it right. So here's the book he's using. He's giving a description of it. Here's the course he's teaching, and he's teaching at Cal State Dominguez Hills. So and you can say, well, are the learning outcomes that I'm teaching in my course the same as how this person does? And why did he use the textbook? Okay? So these are all things, information that can help you as a faculty member make a choice to move to a free and open textbook. Make it convenient, make it free for you to learn these things. Okay. Interesting? So far, so good? Okay. Next, another collection. Merlot and Cool for Ed collections are focused on, I'll say, more traditional academic areas. We put together another collection directly related to workforce development called Skills Commons. And I'm going to show you some of the particular materials in it, and let me explain around this. The U.S. Department of Labor invested $2 billion in this project for over 700 community colleges to develop open educational resources for advanced manufacturing, for IT, for sustainability and energy, for healthcare, for agriculture, for mining, for construction. All these materials are available out there. And what's important about these materials, they are here for you to download, revise, and reuse. We store all the materials, so I have a huge repository of the content, and If you want a certificate program in mechatronics, which is about robotics and things like that, we have, and I'll show you examples, we have those courses that you can download the content, you can then take the content, revise it, put your Concord University label on it, and you're ready to teach with it, okay? Skillscommons.org, and I would say a lot of the materials in advanced manufacturing can be very useful in engineering courses, okay? You're teaching healthcare, we have tremendous materials in the area of healthcare, okay? So this is, again, a screenshot of the showcases and gives you examples about how campuses are already reusing it. So you can see one institution has taken some other, so they've taken University Alaska's math materials and North Carolina is using them. And so you can see examples of how you're reusing. There's something called a makeover strategy. This is where you might really change over. So I might take this cloth here, right? It's the same cloth, but now what I'm going to do, probably not very effectively, is I'm going to put it around like, and I don't know what you call it, but so it's the same material, right? And I go like this. Let's see if the YouTube taught me right. Close. And then I tuck it over. And now I'll hold it up, okay? So in a sense, I've just made over, I took the same material and now I'm using it for a different purpose. All these open education resources, you can bring some advanced technology in and use that in all different ways. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tuck it in my belt here so it stays up, okay? Is this okay? Is that all right? Okay, all right. And that's all the undressing or dressing I'm going to do today, okay? All right. Now here's the open courseware. So these are complete open courses here. And we have it in business management. Anybody in business here? Okay. Or developmental education, energy industry, healthcare, IT, instructor training, and more. And now I'm going to go through healthcare. Healthcare learning simulations. So here's a whole set of courses learning about vital signs and simulations. And what we provide you, you can preview it, look at the whole course there. Sorry. You can download the materials. We have subject matter expert reviews. So these are people in industry who evaluated this material to say, is it any good or not? So when we're thinking about, in that little pyramid, creating capabilities, how do we make it convenient and affordable for you to have access to the content? All right. And here's an example of the outcome of the program. One of the institutions who put this together, and here, it says here, students who went through this program had a significantly higher quarterly earnings, even when controlling for a broad range of students and characteristics. 22% higher wages than respective students. So now when your program says, we're using content that trains our student better for industry, and they get 25% higher wages, 22% higher wages, what do you think? Are they going to want to come to Concord University? They're going to make more money? Yes, right? Let's see. Che? No. Yes? What? No? Michael is my instructor for Thai. So what's yes? Chai. Okay, right? Yes, they'll come. All right, here's another example in mechatronics. This is a whole certificate program. So when you're looking at how you're supporting learning for all, there are many people who are working already and they want just an additional certificate. They don't want to go back for 4 years, another baccalaureate degree, right? And so autonomous robots, CAD/CAM, electrical systems, industrial robots, these are courses. The full curriculum is immediately available for you to use. And as you see, you can preview the course and you can download the materials. And we're getting about 30 to 40,000 downloads a month of the materials out of Skills Commons. Okay. This is a little picture of all the materials in Skills Commons. It's a visualization. And if you kind of roll, you'll see it on the home page. You put your cursor over the color. So in healthcare, we have over 1,000 materials in healthcare. You just click on the button, and then you can download what's available there. Okay. So how'd you like all those resources? Pretty good? With all these available, why hasn't all this opened up learning for everyone? Right? And that's because we still have a lot to do. And when we're we spent a lot of time on creating capabilities, making it easy and affordable for you to find the materials, but how do you develop demand? And that is, how do you communicate out? How do you let people know about it? How do you provide the professional development for faculty to discovering, learning through how to use Skills Commons in Cool for Ed? You are going to be at a critical part of this process, because this is where implementation of innovation frequently slows down or fails. And it's because how do we support you? You are going to be the innovators. You are going to be the representatives of the ideas, of the benefits. And when an institution wants to do innovative things, you can have someone really creative in your administration coming up with the idea and having the political power behind it. But when you're institutionalizing innovations, each one of you represents the institution. You are the person who will make innovations real. And that's often how you have to figure out, how do you support the implementation of innovation? Because what's going to happen by innovation, you, in your role as being leaders in the local culture, in your local discipline, in your department, you're the person who has to translate this general idea of open education resources into how is it going to fit into biotechnology? How is it going to fit into agriculture? How is it going to fit into those areas? You know what's important for your community. You understand the policies that you have to work within. An IT person, someone from the US, we don't know those anywhere near as much as you. And so implementing innovation really requires you to be the leader and represent those ideas, right? Because it requires customized solutions. And you are the people who know how to learn to use it within the context that's important for you. Now, and as I mentioned before, on the website we have examples of how to reuse materials. So here's an example of some electronics. And then another institution said, I had to make this over so it fit the way our institution works. So the concept of you customizing it, you using it, We have lots of examples, so you can help say, yeah, it's not too bad, it's not too easy. You are going to open the doors for opportunity. And why would someone walk through those doors? Why would they take a chance in learning something new? And I think what it comes down to is around you being the trusted friend. Innovations, especially in technology, people talk about the new mobile app, the new broad-based infrastructure, the new, all important, essential, you need to have that. But it's the human relationships between the innovator, the visionary, the politician, and your community that becomes important. Have you ever done something brand new because a friend encouraged you? That, hey, why don't you try this out? Why don't you try running up this mountain with me? And you're going, oh, why would I want to do that? Okay, I'll do it with you, right? Or why would I want to go someplace? Or why would I want to try this app? Your friends are the enablers for innovation. And so think about how you can be the innovator for other people through your friendships. Friends provide you the social support when you're really struggling through some innovations. Have you ever had trouble with technology and you call someone up and say, hey, Michael, can you work on this? Right? So developing that friendship, continue to expand your relationship with others becomes an essential element. And afterwards, you celebrate, share good times. This is going to be another important element to an innovation strategy is after you do an innovation, how do you tell the stories in a celebration with food and fun? Important, because all these will help innovations be institutionalized. And we're coming to the end here, and let me just see how I'm doing on time. Oh, not too bad. Okay, just another few minutes. Part of you have individual friendships, and then you have partnerships with other organizations. And one of the areas that I think is going to be essential in our future is building partnerships with businesses. Because the value of the education, in addition to the growth and development of new knowledge, is also to enable our citizens to become employed, to have salaries, to have lives, to have families, and connecting the way the skill sets our businesses need and that they're going to continue need. Just because I got a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering when I was 22 does not mean when I'm 44 I'm going to have the same set of skills required for me to succeed. So how can Conken provide the additional certificate programs in workforce development? And how do you make it as inexpensive and convenient and easy as possible? Because, again, if you remember in that pyramid, I'll just quickly go back real quick. And here we go. We're getting close. Oh, there we go. Developing demand. In order for education to be successful, you want people to want what you give. So businesses can be really important in helping you develop that demand. Now, I've been in higher education for 33 years, and we often have advisory groups, but we really don't listen to industry. And I think that has to really change. Part of true dialogue is when I, as a faculty member, surrender my viewpoint and listen to what the other person really is saying. All right? And as faculty, we have tremendous expertise. We are subject matter experts. but we often may not know what are the specific skills that's going to be really critical for our students as they go out and become employed. And to work with our business partners to say, how are we going to measure the benefits of that collaboration? Are the people, do they stay in the job longer? Do they require less training? Do they get raises faster? Right? All these things to say, so when people go to Kanken, they have higher salaries. They stay in the, I mean, these are all really important measures that working with industry, you can then have a true partnership. Because working with your friends, they understand the complex situations and the hidden nature of your talents. And that's what makes collaboration so important. And when Professor Kwok talked about kind of the disintegration of the silos, to enable collaboration, you have to have good dialogue. And you, each of you, are the ingredient because you will be the friend of learners. So I have, at the end here, thinking always about give a gift and not a burden. Does anyone like chocolate? Who likes chocolate? Raise your hand. Okay, I see people, here, come on over here. Or just one of you. Would you like some chocolate? Yeah, right, okay. So have some and take the bag and then you can pass it around so other people can have chocolate too, all right? Now, the gift. Was it unexpected to come to hear a boring someone and then you get chocolate, right? And if you like chocolate, it's a good thing, all right? Now, this is what you have to think about when you give a gift and not a burden. Think about what that person needs, not what you want them to take, right? So think about when you are doing innovative things, how do you make it like giving chocolate out? All right? And now I'm coming to the very end. How do we connect the dots with all this opportunity? You have your institutions, you have open education resources, right? So when I look, here's a bunch of dots. These might be all the opportunities through your institutions that are there. And when you look at that, you say, "What? Can you tell me what that says there? Anybody?" No. Now, open education resources through Merlot and Skills Commons can provide people some additional opportunities, fill in the gaps here and there. Okay? Anybody can tell me what that says yet? Well, how about this one? All right? TCU is really about building friendships across institutions that allow you to connect all the opportunities with your curriculum, with the people. Because if you think you can change the world all by yourself, you're really going to be struggling. But by working with open education resources and the community of friends, we can change the world with innovations. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time this morning before your lunch. And I really do appreciate just all the hospitality and kapun, hang on one second. Oh, duh, okay. Kapun duh klap. And if there's a few, do we have a few minutes for questions? Or any questions? Did everyone get their chocolate? Oh, it's still going around? Okay, all right, good. Questions, comments? Did you learn something today? Raise your hand if you learned something today. Oh, okay, good. Did you learn never to come to these type of sessions again? No. Yes.
Their own section of their collection on Merlot, so they can create their own collection.
Oh, yeah. Oh, as Michael said, in Merlot, if you want, you can create your own collection. They call it a bookmark collection. So think of you have a library, and then you can take Anirudh's collection, so he can collect them. Or you can get Professor Kwok's. There's the technology is all there. It's all in the cloud, and you can just create your own collection, again, to make your life easy. And of course, the TCU folks are here. I can always, if you ever want me to do a video webinar, get up early, I'll stay up late, and I can show you about how to use Merlot. Okay. With that, thank you so much.